Okay, well, thank you very much. And I just want to let people know that this Zoom town hall meeting is being broadcast on YouTube and Facebook. I wanted to use this platform so I could reach more Norwalk residents and keep them informed as to what's going on. I want to thank you all for joining. First of all, this will be one of many town hall meetings that we're going to be doing as we start to move through the situation in which we find ourselves, as we start to make the decisions that are going to perhaps ease restrictions and other kinds of things. We're going to be inviting other people from my staff and other people with various degrees of expertise on the pandemic and other things to join us as we move forward. I know that a lot of our Common Council members are joining us. They've been in touch with me. I've been in touch with them throughout this process and keeping each other informed so as we move forward. If you wish to ask a question, you can ask a question by hitting Q&A button on your screen. I'm going to do the best that I can to answer all the questions, depending on how many we get. I do have to leave the meeting at 6:15 because I have a Board of Estimate and Taxation meeting, finalizing our budget and looking at the Board of Education budget and seeing how that's playing out. So as I said, I'll be here for about 40 minutes. First, let me give you an idea as to how we got where we are today. Back on March 13th, I had a meeting with Dr. Adamowski and key members of his staff and my Director of Health, and strongly urged that we close schools because of the pandemic. And Dr. Adamowski and his team were in total agreement. So on the last day of school was actually March 13th, or actually the day before, I believe. On March 14th, I declared a civil preparedness emergency due to the COVID-19 outbreak. That would allow me to make certain decisions, emergency decisions for various things under an emergency preparedness or civil preparedness emergency. March 16th, we announced that City Hall was closed to the public, but I want you to know that City Hall is up and running. We are still providing the essential services to keep our government running, and we have been from day one. So we wanted to make sure that we close City Hall to the public, but some of our staff are still in the office on a daily basis, working and providing the services that our community expects and needs. March 18th, I suspended pay to park requirements at all city metered parking spaces. This was because of the fact that restaurants were going to be closed. We wanted to make sure that people could run in, run out, and pick up something, curbside service, etc. On March 19th, looking at what was happening around the community, as I would take my daily ride throughout the city, looking at things that were happening, I ordered all salon, barbershops, nail parlors, tattoo parlors, massage parlors. I ordered them closed because of the close proximity of the service provider and the client. And that was not a healthy situation. And it certainly was not consistent with practicing social distancing. On March 21st, I ordered playgrounds and courts at the beach closed in Betts Park because I found that lots of young people were congregating and were in close proximity to each other. And the whole idea of these restrictions is simply one thing: to stop the spread of the virus. March 22nd, after reports of huge crowds at Cranberry Park, I ordered Cranberry Park closed, as well as all school facilities with playground equipment, basketball courts, and the like. March 28th, I suspended the carry-out bag ordinance in Norwalk and prohibited retailers from charging for the paper bags and plastic, and allowing them to use plastic bags. This was because of the question that reusable bags may carry with them certain bacteria and other kinds of things, and we wanted to make sure that we're protecting our grocery workers. March 29th, I gave 3 executive orders: no vehicles in parks and beaches, half occupancy in many of the businesses. We were getting complaints from the various people that some of our larger retailers, the stores were crowded, the stores were packed, and people were bumping into each other and always next to each other. I also said that we should have 1 family member per family shopping at any given time. I was at a place and I saw a mom and dad bringing 3 young children into the store, and felt that that was a danger, not only to the other people, but certainly to the children, and exposing them to the greater possibility that they might contract the virus. Um, Lately, what we've done, because of getting reports that people were throwing plastic gloves and protective latex gloves onto the ground as they left the store, I had all stores place specially marked receptacles to take the plastic bag, to take the plastic gloves, take the masks and so forth as people were leaving the store. So now for the current situation. We have approximately 950, or actually 942 positive cases in Norwalk. 50 of our residents have died. When we start talking about the numbers of people, we've lost 50 of our citizens. They're more than just a number. They're human beings, members of our community that have passed on and have left husbands, wives, mothers, fathers, children behind. And it's really a very, very sad situation in which we find ourselves. So we want to make sure that we do everything that we possibly can to stop this spread right now. The downward trends in the hospitalization right now, you've heard about it in Connecticut, New York, New Jersey. It's a good thing. But I want to caution, we want to get back to normal as quickly as we possibly can. Everybody wants to get back to normal as quickly as we possibly can. These are very challenging, very frustrating times. This is something that is beyond anything we ever expected. But Dr. Fauci, who is the director of the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases, just this morning warned against trying to reopen too quickly. I know there's people that are frustrated and there's demonstrations going on. And he said that if we open too quickly, that we could cause another surge in the virus equal to or greater than what we're seeing right now. We have to be mindful that this is a very contagious, very serious disease, and we have to continue doing the things that we know are working. So we want to move forward, but we want to do it properly. Parks and beaches are closed right now to vehicular traffic. We want people to adhere to physical distancing. But when it comes to talking about reopening and easing some of the restrictions, we're going to be listening to the medical professionals, the people who study infectious diseases, people who are studying COVID-19, the coronavirus, people who can give us good, solid information as to when it's going to be safe to reopen. We want to thank, first of all, our essential employees. Normally, and we know the police and the fire and the EMS, they're out there every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week protecting us. But let's not forget about the other heroes and sheroes. We have the medical professionals, the doctors, the nurses. We have the grocery store workers, the people that are pumping gas for us or the gas stations, people that are serving food in the restaurants, people that are doing the things that allow us to continue moving forward to some degree of normalcy. And we want to thank them because they're putting their lives on the line every single day of the week as they normally do. So now we know that tonight, effective at 8 o'clock tonight, the governor's latest order is that everybody going out in public, if you can't maintain social distancing, that you have to wear a face covering. We know that masks have some limited efficacy. We know that masks are not there to protect you from getting the virus, but more likely, if you're asymptomatic, to prevent you from spreading the virus. So as of 8 o'clock tonight, if you're not able to keep physically 6 feet apart from other people whenever you're out in public, and especially in our larger retail stores, please make sure that you wear a covering, a mask, whatever you can do to help stop the spread of this virus. We have another school distribution site that opened today, Columbus Magnet School. Open to any family with children under 18 years. You do not need to be enrolled in the Norwalk Public Schools. You can go get your meals, and we're looking for a couple of other places. The distribution by buses was stopped quite some time ago when it was shown that there were too many people crowding around the bus, and we had large crowds gathering in close proximity to each other. Food pantries and other groups are in need of donations and supplies. If you are able to make a food donation, that would help your neighbors greatly. Nonprofits, volunteer survey and local organization survey is online. Residents who want to volunteer can complete the survey and we'll help match you with a local group that you can help work with. Nonprofits can also complete a survey as to what kinds of services they're needing. I've had lots of questions about the spring yard waste. Well, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the city's hauler was unable to accept yard waste material until April. That delayed the start of the yard waste collection by 2 weeks, and one of the reasons the site was closed. The spring waste collection started today for residents with Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday city garbage. During the week of April 27th, collections will be for residents with Thursday and Friday garbage. The yard waste site opened to residents this Tuesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. All traffic is going to be detoured down Reynolds Street and onto South Smith Street. There will be no access directly from Fort Point Street. Norwalk Police will be present to help with traffic control. So if you want to bring your yard waste, follow the directions, and the site will be open from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Business resources that were approved for small business loans and paycheck protection programs should begin receiving money very, very soon. Many programs like the state bridge loan reach their capacity in a matter of days, showing just how serious this situation is. We know businesses are impacted, and we're working to provide resources and information. Economic Development Team is here to assist. If you need any assistance with small business loans or finding resources, please reach out to Jessica Casey, my Chief of Economic and Community Development, or Sabrina Church, my Business Development Director. They will be more than happy to help you in any way that they can and point you in the direction where you might be able to find some resources. Another thing that we're finding is that the people are asking questions about the Vets Park boat launching. Boat launch will be open this weekend for Norwalk residents who have marina slips by appointment only. We'll put out information how you can make an appointment. It will be open the weekend of May 1st, boat launch season. The weekend of May 1st, boat launch will be open for daily boat launchers. But for this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we will be having the boat launch ramps open. The information will be posted on our website, the hours and how you can request an appointment to launch your boat. Currently, we're talking, I have a meeting tonight with the Board of Estimate and Taxation. We'll be presenting their budget. Currently, there is not an expenditure issue related to COVID-19, but we are keeping track of every expense that we feel might be related and might be subject to reimbursement. We have spent to date, we have allocated funds at the request of the Board of Education to sanitize all of our schools and to provide Chromebooks for 4th and 5th graders to enhance their distance learning experience. Those are the only two major expenditures that we have had. We have more of a concern on revenues. Will tax collections go down? Will we lose state aid? We don't know right now. There's just too many things that are up in the air. We're not sure exactly what the future is going to hold, but we want to make sure that we are protecting the city and the citizens of Norwalk by having a buffer that will be used in the event that we have unexpected COVID-19 expenses. And what we will do is use that money to offset the expenses, and hopefully a good deal of that money will be reimbursable by either FEMA or by the state of Connecticut. We want to remind residents that taxes due July 1st can now be paid by October 1st without penalty. The governor has allowed the city of Norwalk and other municipalities to make that adoption so that we have adopted the 3-month delay in collecting your property taxes. So if you if you can't afford to pay your property taxes, you can pay them on October 1st without any penalty whatsoever. Currently, we have a hiring freeze for new positions. Exemptions would be made for critical functions if there was an emergency situation, but right now we're trying to be as frugal as we possibly can. So that's pretty much the update as to where we are. As I said before, let's take a real good look at reopening the city of Norwalk, reopening the state of Connecticut, but let's make sure that we do it right. We don't want to offset and find ourselves back in a situation where we have a surge in the pandemic and that we open too soon, too quickly. I want to reiterate that I'm as frustrated as everybody else. Having to make the decisions to close beaches, to close different things, to put restrictions, to close businesses where people count on them for their livelihood. It's not an easy decision, but those decisions have to be made. They have to be made in order to protect everybody and to make our community as healthy as we possibly can. So physical distancing is the single most effective way of stopping the spread of the virus. And we encourage everybody to stay home if they can. If you have to go out, obviously, for medical appointments, to pick up groceries, have one person do that, and try to, if you have the means, try to purchase enough groceries for the week so you could only have to go out one time. We will get through this together, Norwalk. We will be okay in the end. It's just a matter of doing it right and not trying to rush back into reopening to a point where we end up being worse off than we were in the beginning. So I notice there are some questions down at the bottom. I will try to answer all the questions that I can within the time allotted. If you want to ask other questions or private question, or if I don't get to your question, please feel free to message me and we'll do everything we can to answer your questions. So let me take a look. Will the city consider purchasing and handling out quality washable masks to those in our city who may not have means or access? It would help to ensure the safety of the public and will provide a safer mask than some of the loose fitting regular scarves. We're looking at what we can do, where we might be able to obtain masks. Right now, masks have been pretty much reserved for the people on the front lines, our first responders, fire, police, EMS, some of the people, the healthcare workers that are healthcare providers. But we're looking at seeing where we might be able to get masks. But I caution, do not rely too heavily on the mask for protecting you from contracting the virus. The masks and the face coverings, which are somewhat effective as well, better than nothing, are there to help you if you're asymptomatic, to stop you from providing or from infecting somebody else. Thank you. Next question. We are seniors and would like to know how to get masks so that many are wearing. Our other communities like Bridgeport are handing out. Thank you. Again, I think I just answered that. We're trying to get the masks. We're trying, but also face coverings are better than absolutely having nothing. But we're looking, I have my director of health and my chief of community services looking at seeing where we can obtain masks. They are at a premium right now. They're very difficult to obtain. Some of the other communities, they obviously don't have enough masks to give to everybody in their city, but we're looking to see and try to get as many as we possibly can. We have some neighbors that have relatives visiting from New York. They do not practice social distancing and they do not wear masks. What can be done? Well, we count on people's observations to help us because we can't be every place all the time. So we want to make sure that if you see something that you feel is inappropriate or that is somebody's not doing what they should be doing, please let us know. We can take a look and find out what we have to do in order to do that, in order to kind of contact them and try to help them in being socially responsible. Let's see what else I have here. Okay. Are we expected to wear masks when walking around our neighborhoods? If you're out in public and you're unable to maintain a 6-foot physical distance, you're supposed to be wearing masks according to the governor's latest order. So the answer to that question is yes. And if you're not able to maintain social distancing. Let's see what else I have here. Can you please sign the petition to the governor of Connecticut asking to create an emergency fund to help undocumented families of our state? More than 50 organizations have signed, more than 20 state representatives. The mayor of New Haven signed. Last week, the state of California created a fund of $125 million. Absolutely, I think it's important. We want to protect everybody within our boundaries. Undocumented families are just as likely to contract the virus as anybody else. And they also can spread the virus. So we want to do whatever we can to help anybody within the city of Norwalk and in the state of Connecticut. Let's see what else I can find. Thank you, Donna Bender, for your nice comments. Let's see what else we have. Okay, got that. trying to scroll through here and see some of them are duplicate. Are we expected to wear masks in the neighborhood? I've answered that one. I know this is a low priority issue, but have you considered opening Oak Hills? We have been working with the chairman of the Oak Hills Park Authority to figure out when the appropriate time to do that would be. We're trying to work out something. We know that some golf courses around the state have opened, some never closed, some of the private courses. It's a challenge, but we're trying to make some protocols that would allow Oak Hills to open soon. When I say protocols, increased time between tee-off times, one person to a cart, doing the kinds of things that would minimize the social distancing, maximize the social distancing, but we're trying to do the best we can. Again, we're trying to get back to some degree of normalcy as quickly as we possibly can. And certainly we understand that people want to be out at the beaches, people want to be out at the parks, people want to be out playing golf, people want to play basketball and lacrosse and all the other kinds of things that are normal to us. And with the weather getting warmer, people are going to want to do that more. And I certainly understand that. And I want to assure everybody that whatever we need to do, we will do, but we're going to ease into relaxing some of those restrictions, because not doing so could be catastrophic. And we want to make sure that we don't lose the momentum, the positive momentum we've made already. So I want to thank everybody for their patience. I want to thank everybody for being responsible. I want to thank everybody for doing the things that they need to do to help us in this endeavor, because we're all in this together. Let's see, we need this in Spanish. When is this going to be available in Spanish? Good point. I know we're trying, my wife is actually typing or translating my daily briefing into Spanish, and it's getting posted in Spanish. So we need to make sure that we do reach our Hispanic speaking community, and we want to do whatever we can. So I'll be discussing this with my staff. Can I explain the tax fee, the tax deferral, and do I have to apply? No, you actually don't have to apply. The tax deferral, taxes are normally due on August 1st. Actually, they're really due on July 1st, but we have a grace period to August 1st so that you can pay without penalty. With the governor's executive order, we are allowed to defer tax payments up to October 1st. So you do not have to pay your property taxes until October 1st. And rather than make people apply and prove that they're unable to pay, we decided just to make it a universal, and anybody who wants to can pay their taxes on or before October 1st without penalty. Let's see what else I have here. When do we think things will return to normal? Boy, you know, I wish I had the answer to that. I really do. This is a very challenging time. Nobody ever expected to be in the situation in which we find ourselves. It is a difficult thing because we're used to being able to walk around as we want and do the things we want and be out in the community and meeting with friends and going to dinner and to the movies and doing all those things that we've become so accustomed to. I can't give you that answer. I do know that we really, and I'll say it again, we have to be very cautious. We want to make sure that we don't lose the momentum we've made. We are in a situation that we could, if we don't do this right, we could cause a resurgence. According, as I said, Dr. Fauci just this morning mentioned that we have to be cautious. And the city of Norwalk and my team, we will be listening to our community, seeing how we can make things better, but we're also going to be listening and relying heavily on the medical professionals, the experts who study viruses, infectious diseases, who can tell us what to expect. You know, when we first started this, there was so little known about COVID-19, about the coronavirus, but every day we're learning something else. The first thing we were learning was that it might be less contagious than the flu, then only to find out that it's far more contagious than the flu. This virus has spread so quickly, so rapidly throughout the United States and throughout the world that it was a surprise to everybody. So I'd love to be able to tell you when things will return to normal, but I can't. I want things to return to normal as quickly as they possibly can. So we're going to be working with trying to make that happen. Okay, so now I've been asked to remind people to use the Q&A to ask questions. A number of people logged on after I've started opening my remarks. So if you want to ask a question, use the Q&A button on your screen. Let's see what else we have here. I'm trying to go through these. And when will the city start finding people not following the ordinances or using masks, keep social distance and litters with PPE? Well, we're hoping that people will engage in what we call willing compliance. I know there are some people that have not practiced social distancing. I know some people have not. They won't wear the masks. They don't do the things that we're asking them to do. So we are going to be looking at the possibilities there. The police department is aware. If you have any situations where you feel people are being irresponsible, please let us know. We will investigate and we will take whatever appropriate action we can take. We've been in touch with the corporate executives from all the big retail stores and the outlets and told them some of the things that we expect them to do. As I said back a while back, I indicated that, or I gave an executive order that I wanted the stores to reduce their capacity by 50% and to allow only one person from a family in. Now we also know that people going into the stores have to wear masks and or face coverings. So we're hopefully going to get more willing compliance. Let's see, you previously said that Norwalk wouldn't open until we have 0 cases. How can you expect this? It is impossible to expect that in the next year. What we need to do is the idea behind this is to ease out of restrictions and listen to the medical professionals. I am not a medical professional. I have to rely on experts like Dr. Fauci. What has been said in the past and some of the things that we kind of look at is if we don't have another positive case for 2 weeks, that would indicate that perhaps the virus has passed its course. So excuse me, I'm sorry, but we want to make sure that we do it right. So I don't think there's a magic time when we can say, okay, everything is clear, but we have to use our best judgment as rely upon the people, the experts who have all the information. Thank you from Open Doors. The City of Norwalk and your team have provided incredible leader. Oh, okay, well, thank you very much. You know, I do really appreciate all the wonderful comments that we get. This is not easy. Nobody wants to make the tough decisions, but they have to be made. And I've gotten a lot of support from and encouragement from the people who recognize how difficult this is, how they recognize that we're in this together. They know that this is a serious situation. So I do want to thank everybody who's been so kind with their words. Let's see where else we are. Can I give a shout out to the class of 2020? Do you think we'll have a graduation? Well, let's give a shout out to the class of 2020 and all the young people in all our schools. You know, this is a new thing for everybody. Thankfully, we have the technology that allows distance learning. We've helped the City of Norwalk, the public schools, by purchasing extra Chromebooks so we can give them to the young people so they can continue to learn. Do I think you'll have a graduation? Let me tell you something, Nicole. We're going to do everything we possibly can to give you a graduation. We know what a special time graduation from high school is. Every year I look forward to addressing the class of 2019, 2020, 18 of Brian McMahon High School and Norwalk High. So we are aware of how important it is, and we will be working with the Norwalk Public Schools to see how we can make that happen. We will do everything within our power. And congratulations, class of 2020. You're remarkable. You're enduring a lot, just like everybody else is, and you're rising to the occasion. I find it interesting. I know it's a challenge, but I've been speaking with the superintendent of schools who said that there's 97, 98% attendance. So I think we're onto something here, and hopefully we'll continue to have that attendance level. For my son, what about adult rec leagues this summer? Also beach concerts this summer? Has everything been canceled for summer 2020? The answer to that is simple. Not everything has been canceled, but we are looking at what we can do and what we have to cancel based on the situation at any given time. I know the governor's next date that he's looking at is May 20th. We're going to see what, on May 20th, he's going to be looking at what the situation is right then and there, and determine exactly how we have to move forward. What strict restrictions can be eased. How are we going to move forward and not create a situation where we might find ourselves backsliding and having another surge in the coronavirus? So right now we're looking at different things. I believe we have to, I know the Memorial Day Parade has been canceled. Unfortunately, that's our time when we pay tribute to and remember the heroes, the men and women of our armed forces who lost their lives in service to our country. That's a sad thing, but we'll find ways, proper ways to honor them at some point. So not everything has been canceled yet. I know that rec leagues we're looking at that. We're looking at the summer concert series. It all depends on where we are when all those things are supposed to be happening. How will coronavirus affect the budget and taxes? We don't know. You know, it's a challenge. You know, we don't know if if the money from the state is going to be coming in as we expect. We know that taxes, if people are not going to be paying their taxes until October 1st, we figured that the cost of the city of Norwalk by not getting the taxes until then would be somewhere in the area of $50,000. But that's something that we can absorb. We think it's more important to give people the taxes, deferment in the taxes, because many of them have not gone back to work. Many of them have been laid off and so forth. So we're not sure, but with the budget remains the same as it did before. We were able to, if you tune into the BET meeting tonight, you'll hear the budget presentation from my chief of finance, and he'll explain that we have a buffer. He'll explain the mill rate, and he'll explain the impact of the taxes or the budget on the city of Norwalk. When will Town Hall be reopened? Hopefully very soon. Hopefully soon, but again, we have to be cautious. Know that City Hall is being staffed by people in City Hall right now providing essential services. That has been the case from day one. The town clerk's office is open, the tax collector, the law department is fully functioning, the customer service line is being operated or being staffed. So the essential services are being provided at some point, and inspections are being done, home inspections, doing inspections on the outside for now. Permits are being issued. A lot of the services are being provided. So we will open City Hall when we feel it's safe to do so. I feel kind of powerless being stuck inside, and I want to do something to help. Any idea on what I can do? Well, the thing that you're doing that's most helpful is being stuck inside. You know, it's a physical distancing thing. We appreciate that. There's If you feel that you can make face coverings for people, if you can contact some of the food distribution places and make donations, those are the things that really help. People need, our nonprofits are hurting right now too, because a lot of their donations have pretty much dried up. People that would normally donate to them don't have the resources to do that anymore. So making donations, helping making face coverings, getting the word out, getting on social media, reminding people of what they need to do to be responsible, putting out the information we put out on your social media, that's all very helpful. Let's see. Some towns are only allowing public participation by email. Can people still participate in council and BOE meetings? The answer to that is yes. We will be doing the Zoom meetings, the same platform we're using right now. And there are a couple of ways. Number one, if you want to see the agenda of either the Board of Ed meeting or the council meeting, you can email a question in advance, or we have a public participation session in the beginning. Jim asked me, what's your day like every day? Well, you know what, Jim, it's pretty much the same as yours, I imagine. Social distancing, isolation, conference calls day in and day out, meetings at night, working with my staff, dealing with issues that come up. So it's pretty busy. But we're getting through it. Usually every day I do take a ride around town and see what's happening. I look at some of the stores that we mentioned where people were complaining about crowds going in. We take a look at that. I was pleased to see that a lot of the stores are having lines queue up outside of people waiting to get in. So they're actually practicing the 50% capacity level. So that's about it. I ride around, I look at what's happening in town. I'm on conference calls all the time, meetings dealing with different issues that have not gone away, that still need to be attended to, but it's still extremely busy. Probably busier than I am when I'm normally in City Hall. Rose asked, is the census still happening? Yes, but I believe I just heard something that they may be pushing pushing it back a little. I'm not sure, but yes, the census will be happening. That's something that we have to do, and we will be doing it. Mr. Mayor, what's for dinner tonight? I love these questions. Well, as we're sitting here, my wife just turned around. We're having salmon and carrots, very healthy. She makes a wonderful salmon, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's see, Lisa H, I'm not clear on taxes. If not paid before 10/1, will interest be charged? No, interest will not be charged. You can pay up to October 1st and interest will not be charged. Now, there's a caveat. Under normal circumstances, you have until August 1st to pay. So what will happen is if you don't pay by August 1st, your interest goes back to July 1st. So you have to pay a whole month's interest because you didn't pay by the grace period. That's the same kind of thing we're looking here. If you don't pay by October 1st, your interest will go back, your penalties will go back to July 1st. So do everything you can to pay by October 1st. Let's see what else I have here. Thank you, David Hooverman. Any quarantine series or movie suggestions, Mr. Mayor? Wow, I'm going through Roku, and I found several old movies. One of my favorite movies of all time. I've watched some of them. I love watching The Godfather. I love watching a lot of the different movies that are on, the older movies. So if you have Roku, Netflix, Amazon Prime, whatever you have, they've got some wonderful movies on. Let's see, where am I now? What time is it? I've got a few more minutes to answer questions. Let me see if I've missed any. There are lots of people volunteering to make face masks. How can we get in touch with your director of health to see if we can donate directly to the city and a distribution bid can be put up in City Hall? You can get in touch with my director of health. Her name is Deanna Diamore. first initial D, last name Diamore at norwalkct.org. And if you send her an email, she will respond. She is in the office every single day doing a lot of research. And one of the things that she's finding, and this is something that we're looking into, there probably are more cases that are not documented right now and not attributed to Norwalk, to Connecticut, to some of the other communities in Connecticut, because some people contract the virus. They are isolating at home. They may get better, and we might never know that they have the virus. So we're looking to that as well. But yes, reach out to Deanna Diamore, and she will assist you in any way that she can. Let's see what else I have here. I think I've answered pretty much all the questions that I can see on here. I just saw on the news here, just came in, I saw on the news some people are protesting in Hartford to open up the state again. Why aren't people taking this seriously? I think it's more frustration than anything else, John. It's very, very challenging. We all know how difficult it is to be locked into the house, to have to stay in, to have to wear a mask when we go out. As I said, we never expected to be in this situation. I think this was a shock to all of us, and the rapidity of which this virus spread was even more shocking. So people are getting frustrated, and I get it, but I would ask people, before you start looking at protesting or not paying attention to the restrictions, the word that's being put out there, listen to the medical experts. The medical experts know what's going on. They are the people that have the information. They study infectious diseases. They can track this and know what to expect. They're telling us, do not rush to open up. Let's give it a little bit more time. Let's ease into easing those restrictions. Let's make sure that we do it right, because we've done it right so far. We've done it right so far. Let's not go backwards right now. Let's keep moving forward. I heard Mayor de Blasio say, don't take your foot off the gas pedal right now. That's not the time. Let's keep moving forward. Thank you for keeping us informed. Thank you for saying that, Joanne. We are going to keep you informed. We're going to keep moving forward. We're going to have more of these Zoom town hall meetings, and I think that we'll get more information out this way, and it's critically important. And to the person who asked about the Hispanic community, we will do what we can to see how we can make that happen as well. Ileana, thank you for everything you and your staff are doing to keep us safe. You are all in our prayers every night. Thank you so much. You know, we all need to be praying for each other. We all need to be working together. We all need to be supporting each other. This is not a time for politics as usual. This is a time for saying, look, there's no Democratic or Republican way to deal with the pandemic. We're in this together. Let's work together. Let's share ideas. Let's make sure we get it right. Nobody can do everything, but everybody can do something. Everybody can contribute. And that's what we look to as a community, looking to work together, because that's what Norwalk is all about. That's what Connecticut is all about. That's what this country is all about, working together to make sure that we support each other, to do what we have to do to get through this as quickly as possible, but as safely as possible. What advice would you give a young person who thinks they are invincible? Well, I would say that young people can get the virus as well. If you look at the statistics that we put out and that the state of Connecticut puts out, we do have young people that are getting this virus. And every young person that gets the virus, they may be okay because they don't have any underlying health issues. Their body may be stronger. Their immune system may be stronger. They may be able to get through it with fewer symptoms. But every young person that does get it and that doesn't experience physical and social distancing has a risk of bringing it home to mom, to dad, to grandma and grandpa, the people that might be more susceptible to a serious episode. So the young people, they'll get it if they're not careful. but they have a social responsibility to make sure that they don't give it to others. So that's what I would tell them. Tell them to practice social distancing. They are parts of our community. They are a very vital part of our community, and they need to do the things that we know are responsible. It is 6:15. I thank you all for tuning in. I really, really do. This is so important to share information. We will be doing this again. We will set out a schedule. I would hope to do one perhaps either by the end of this week or the very beginning of next week. We will keep you informed, and I do so much appreciate everybody signing in today, asking the questions, trying to get the answers. We know that it is our obligation to provide you with answers. So the updates are available in Spanish. I mentioned that earlier. I know my wife just gave me a little note here. The updates that we put out daily are available in Spanish, and we'll try to figure out how else we can get that word out. That's online. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in. I truly, truly appreciate it. Norwalk, we're going to get through this. Norwalk strong. Let's do it. And we'll see you at the next town hall meeting, if not before. Thank you.